Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first Wrestlecade podcast. Longest intro music ever, yes, because I was busy filling out the list of topics in the correct order that did not involve me talking about wrestling for the first half of the show. Yeah. Hello, everybody. By the way, that is from Street Fighter 4. What a surprise. Actually, Super Street Fighter 4. But anyway, we got like a whole bunch of topics. I'm going to go down the topics here. We got the wrestling, USA versus Japanese, impossible game, the people that fucking change their names or their characters. We got Echo the Dolphin, Machinima, Dragon's Lair, the fucking contracts of whole Wrestlecade, if we were going to actually offer seasonal contracts, Kinnikuman games, 15 Wrestlecade shows, a celebration of all this shit that's happened, other companies in general, why we were doing Fire Pro Wrestling over a game that you've probably heard of, WB13, how to write a fucking show, and questions and answers. By the way, people, if you want to ask me a question, you can type it, probably send it to me on Twitter, because honestly, at Wrestlecade Fed, because if you try and send it through chat, there's chances are that you'll be talking the entire time and you won't be able to get through it. But anyway, we're going to start this list of topics and actually compare wrestling now from the USA standpoint to the Japanese standpoint, and why I believe that one certain company in Japan might be actually the best thing going today in terms of, competition. In the WWE, of course, you have some talented workers. You have CM Punk, you have Dolph Ziggler, Jack Swagger, guys like those who are very talented wrestlers in general. You have guys who are great on the mic, like The Rock, even though I hate to admit it, he still has some mic quality. John Cena still obviously has some good mic quality, even though he's not a fantastic wrestler. You have guys like, you have guys like The Shield, who obviously are big up-and-comers. But then for every guy like that, you have Randy Orton, a guy that, there's just nothing more than okay, and somehow makes his way to the main event. In TNA, you have guys who are probably the most talented wrestlers in the world who don't get pushed. Same with WWE. You have some of the most talented guys in the whole world, and yet they are not given their chance to shine. They're not given their opportunity. TNA does this a little bit less than WWE because they actually sometimes rotate in guys who are, full TNA talents. We've seen Bobby Roode as TNA champ. We've seen Austin Aries as TNA champ. We've seen James Storm, albeit with a short TNA championship span, but still, championship spans. However, guys like Daniels, Kazarian, Elijah Burke, all good at their things, and yet have not been able to get that opportunity. Bully Ray, in fact, probably one of the most, he's what, tweener now? Not a heel, not a face, a tweener? Not there yet, apparently. And he's been there a lot longer than the Jeff Hardys who've gotten pushed. But anyway, difference between mainstream and Japanese wrestling, the USA and Japan in general, is that the Japanese pro wrestling, New Japan in general, I'm just going with New Japan as a statement here, they push their young talent. Because if you look at, let's go over their champion, Hiroshi Tanahashi, right now, is their champion. Or last time I checked. He might have lost. I haven't checked New Beginning because I haven't watched the pay-per-view yet. But Tanahashi, he's fought people like MVP, Naito, who was known to be in No Limit. He's fought Yujiro, he's fought Nakamura, Okada, Carl Anderson, guys who just some of those guys that he's fought actually were in the lower card. And yet they've been pushed up to that spot in the main event to actually fight him. Yeah. This is what WWE or TNA lacks. It lacks the rotation because as soon as a guy like Carl Anderson loses, let's say it's Carl Anderson versus Tanahashi. Carl Anderson loses, he goes back through the works to rise back up to the main event. You got a guy like Cena, and this is pretty much the thing. Cena loses in the main event to The Rock. Does he take the drop through the mid card and go all the way back up? No, he goes through main event rotation again and again and again and again and again and again, and it's because of that. It's because of the fact that he's not going through the mid card, not getting those feuds with like Cesaro and people like that, that the WWE has gotten gotten pretty stale. In terms of we've seen all this before. I'm not saying that Cena has to go through like a year of mid card to get back up to the top. No, because 4 months of having out of the complete main event, out of that whole top opportunity, would be enough for 2 feuds against mid card guys. The last time I saw him go into a feud with a guy who was stuck in the mid card at that time was The Miz. And look at that. Look what, and that was actually pretty much what a fun story, was a pretty good actual storyline that what happened between Miz and Cena. You want to know who in the WWE actually does this? Look at what Ziggler's doing. Look how Ziggler has actually went through mid card several times to work his way back to the main event to not win the title. Ziggler, what they're doing with Ziggler is what they should be doing with Cena and guys like that. They should be going through the mid card to the main event. That's what they're doing in Japan, and it's worked. That's what they're doing with Aries and Rude at the moment through the tag team division, and it works. Because it inserts new people in the main event, keeps the fans, on their feet, on the edge of their seats, because they want to know who's going to be next to get that shot. And I know that this is not because I know this works, but the only problem is how to make it work. Because you've got egos at work that probably will not stand aside, and that might be the biggest flaw of the WWE and TNA companies. When you have an ego like that, and you have refusal to go back through the system to get back to the main event, it causes big issues. In Japan, there's not really that much of an ego set, honestly. I've seen guys who are the franchise of the company go back through the rotation, like Tanahashi. I've seen him go back through the rotation a couple times, and honestly, it's something that WWE really needs to do in order to vary their main event spots. Now, this is probably. Now, see, we go from one serious topic to the Impossible Game, which I fucking hate. Let me tell you something about the goddamn Impossible Game. It is a piece of shit $4 game on fucking PSN, and it pisses me off. Oh, yeah, we're gonna have a rant about this fucking game, because this game gives you some goddamn awesome music. If you go to fucking training mode, it fucking turns off the awesome music. But you have to use training mode in order to learn how the fucking stage goes. Welcome to the confusion of how to play a fucking game. By the way, if you never played the Impossible Game, it's like DDR, but you're pushing an X button to jump, or you're not jumping. You're jumping over spikes, across gaps, on top of stuff, and then you have to push. You can either hold X, you keep jumping, or you let go and you stop jumping. And it's very simplistic, very addicting, but I fucking hate it because it's pretty much fucking hard to do. Probably one of the fucking most. I don't know. It's a breakthrough for indie games that actually have simplistic fucking controls, but it goddamn annoys me to death because I cannot beat the first fucking level. Because it gives you fucking triple spikes, so I cannot fucking get over triple spikes. It pisses me off. Why the fuck am I always trying to jump over triple spikes? But it's like, no! You cannot get over triple spikes, you fucktard. Go start from the beginning, and I'm like, fuck you. Why the fuck would I want to go through a fucking game like that and just... I mean, and this brings up a good point. Does a game have to be difficult to be good? No. Does a game being difficult make it good? No. It just makes it, difficult. And that's what I want to talk about. Does the game really have to be that difficult to be a good game? It doesn't really. It does not. Because if you look at look at this. You got Dark Souls. Hard as fuck game, yes. Is it a good game? Based on the difficulty, the gameplay, it's one of those games that I find to be a little bit overrated in terms of it gets most of it feels like, you must not think it's good because it's too difficult. No, I just don't think it's that good because it's, not that good. There's like some freaking, I don't know, the controls are a little bit off and it's just like, I don't know. It's not, it's, don't get me wrong, it's a decent game, but it's just like, it's not, you can't call a game good just because it's difficult. Because if we were to call a game fucking good because it's difficult, all the Action 52 games with their impossibility would be fucking good. And that's impossible. That's what drives me crazy. We're not going to make people viewing this show, I believe, but, oh well. I don't think anyone's going to be seriously watching this, but we'll see. We have, so the question is, does the opposite work? If a game is way too easy, is it a good game? And it doesn't, and the game can be easy or the game can be hard. And it can be good based on the controls, the gameplay, the music, the difficulty. Sure, a game with harder difficulty might be good for some people, but it might be bad for others. Dark Souls is a perfect chance for this because people sometimes just play a game, they rage quit, and they leave. Making a game too difficult causes this issue. But, you know what? That's for another podcast. We can talk about the entirety of, oh, well, this is obviously you suck because the game's obviously too hard for you. And that really goes to show. I mean, if I play a difficult game, if you play a difficult game which is not difficult because of controls, doesn't mean you suck as a gamer because some other guy can beat it. Cough cough, Echo the Dolphin. Cough cough. We talk about that later. Doesn't mean that you suck as a gamer. No, it just means that the game fucking sucks because the controls suck. But we should probably go on because we got a whole bunch of topics to go through, and we've got a Q&A to go through, and obviously all these discussions that we're going to have are probably going to be less than a minute, so this podcast might not even last that fucking long. Oh well, it happens. Let's talk about what we got next on our list. Oh yeah, fucking name changers. No. See, nothing infuriates me more than going online and seeing a guy change their name or a fucking character without, especially someone who's booked on my show and does it multiple times and then fucking wants to still be booked. No. See, I don't have an issue with changing your name or your character if you've been there for a while, if you've been that character for a while. Problem is, most often, people like to be pricks and change their name just because they can. Or just because, I've been this character for 2 days and it really hasn't worked out. Yeah, you've only been the character fucking 2 days. You wonder why you're not getting talked too much? Because you've only been the character 2 fucking days. Why don't you stick with the goddamn character for once and don't be a fucking retard? And I know this is probably going to be very insulting to people, but you know what? If anyone finds this insulting, you're a fucking retard. I'm doing a podcast. I can talk about where the fuck I want. Swerve, I'm turning heel. No, I'm just speaking the truth here. If you change your character more than once every 3 days, actually no, more than once every week. Actually, if you change your character once every week, you're a fucking idiot. Stick with the character. Maybe look at some fucking stuff on YouTube if you're lacking inspiration. Maybe that'll help you. Don't fucking change your character. Don't even... And you know, all these people who are asking people to, RT for Cena, favorite for Jericho, reply for CM Punk. Those people are idiots, and they'll always pick one of the fucking most unoriginal... here's the thing. We have more than enough fucking Punks. We have more than enough fucking Jerichos. We have more than enough fucking Cenas. We have more than enough fucking AJs. Quit picking the same fucking character. Maybe you should go out and, I don't know, look at people who haven't been RP'd. I'm pretty sure in the whole history of pro wrestling, there's characters that are well known that no one fucking RPs as. I'm pretty sure. Let's take a look at characters. Spike Dudley, no one RPs as him. He's pretty well known. Scott Steiner, no one RPs to him to the best of my information. He's pretty well known. Let's see. A serious Jack Swagger, pretty much. Well, I don't know. I'm not. Let me explain that Swagger part because I haven't seen the new Swagger yet. Let's see. A non-gay Justin Gabriel, pretty well known. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, I don't know. Fucking goddamn people from both Dallas has been done. Okay, let's go TNA people. Abyss. I haven't seen Abyss. I have not seen anybody like D'Lo Brown or like Ahmed Johnson or people I have not seen a Steve Blackman, who is pretty much the only guy in the hardcore division for about 6 months. Not seen Al Snow. Not seen Dean Malenko. I have not seen an Eddie Guerrero for the longest time. I have not seen a Benoit. I have not seen... Well, I haven't seen a Benoit for the longest time. I haven't seen a fucking Perry Saturn. I have not seen fucking... I have not seen a Val Venus. I have not seen a fucking Viscera. I have not seen a goddamn Gangrel. I have not seen a fucking goddamn Billy Kidman. I have not seen a goddamn fucking piece of shit Teddy Hart. You have names out there, names that people know and love. I haven't seen a fucking Bret Hart. What the fuck? I haven't seen a fucking Ultimate Warrior. I've seen Ultimate Warrior. I have not seen Ted DiBiase. I have not seen IRS. I have not seen Piper. I have not seen Bob Orton. I have not seen Greg Valentine. I have not seen Andre the Giant. I have not seen a big WWE era the Giant. I mean WCW era the Giant. I have not seen a bunch of superstars who are fucking well known being RP'd. If you're gonna pick people from the current era, pick people that are fucking just that you'd like to be. Don't pick people just to get known, because that's what I'm saying. You're picking people like, okay, take for example Seth X Rollins. Oh look, I mentioned Seth. Hi Seth. Seth X Rollins. He picked Seth Rollins. Back when Seth Rollins was pretty much an FCW guy. And yes, I know, he was Tyler Black, but the problem is, here's the thing. Tyler Black, still an indie guy. Indie guys rarely get RP'd as. Still original. You really want to go over the entire thing. There's no Charlie Haas, there's no Shelton Benjamin, there's no MVP. You really want to keep going because there's a lot of those guys that have not been RP'd as, that are that are big superstars in the company, that have been big superstars in the company. There's no Rikishi. There's no goddamn fucking Jeff Jarrett. These are big fucking names that the WWE actually pushed as champions, and yet they're not being RP'd as. So before you think, oh, I want to be the next CM Punk, or oh, I want to be the next AJ Lee, how about you think about being the next MVP, or maybe the next Stacy Keibler, or maybe the next I don't know, Jacqueline, or fucking goddamn Awesome Kong, because we don't have many Awesome Kongs or Karmas. Actually, we only have one, and I don't think that one has been on forever. So pick people who need the person to RP as them. Don't pick the fucking favorite. If you pick the fucking favorite and you do a terrible job, seriously. And first and second off, research your fucking character before you start RPing as them. Going up to someone and say, "Hi, I'm CM Punk. How are you?" is not being CM Punk. No, you have to be a cocky prick sometimes. If you're CM Punk, you have to be. Oh, by the way, another big name, William Regal. There's only Regal says, and that's the only one. And I know that there's another Regal, but he hasn't been on it forever. I mean, for the love of God. Really, we have to go over all this thing. Oh. And please, people, let people know we're actually doing this fucking podcast. Because honestly, people need to know. I'm going to go to the fourth topic. Echo the Dolphin. Echo the Dolphin. A game that makes me shudder in fear. A game that looks so fucking beautiful and it sounds so fucking beautiful. That plays like absolute shit. Oh my god. We have to talk about how terrible this game is. First off, I didn't know dolphins controlled like fucking tanks. I mean, it's like, that thing does not like to turn, and it does not like to hit things. And I've been trying to actually get the thing going, but apparently it's not working. You charge the fucking shit, you obviously miss, and you get hurt. You get hurt from pretty much everything in the fucking game, and it fucking annoys you. And oh, that's only the first two games. Let's talk about the 3D game, where I end up swimming more upside down than I do right side up. Do you know how fucking annoying that is? To realize that you've actually got yourself upside fucking down? Really? I've been upside fucking down for half the fucking game when I played it on fucking cast. Fucking last time I casted. Which I believe was a couple days ago. And I got upside down and I was stuck there for fucking ever. And I got to the point where I was gonna... And I couldn't even get to the point where we were gonna get sharks. I mean, we were gonna actually face sharks. That's how bad it is. And the main point of the sharks game... I got this far offline, by the way. The main part of sharks was to charge their sides. Here's the problem with that game. You have no fucking control, so pretty much you're gonna end up having to stand there, pinpoint where the fucking sharks are, and then charge. You know, when you charge with their face, and you die. That's pretty much the point of the fucking game. Good job, Echo. How in the fuck did you get 3 games? When Joe Master, a successful game, not successful, a very great game in my book, got 1. And you know what? I'm announcing this right now. We're going to play Duel Master sometime on this fucking thing for Sega Genesis. No, it's not a puzzle game. It's a fucking side-scroller, and it's good. And the only reason it didn't sell as well is because Sonic 1 was out. I don't fucking care. Fuck Echo. Play Duel Master. Oh, and by the way, now that we're done with that, because that game sucks and we're not going to talk about it anymore, we're talking about Machinima. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would like to know, what's the deal with Machinima? How's it going? What's going to happen with it? Is it going to work? Or is it not? Anyone want to take a wild guess? Anyone in chat? Because I actually have chat open right now. Anyone want to talk about? Anyone want to know what's happening with Machinima right now? I think some of you might. Do you? Here's what we got so far. Here's as far as we got. We are in the consideration process. The consideration process. Now, what that means is that they've got the ideas. They're going to go through them, and if they like any of them, we'll be doing a show. I mean, not a show. We'll be doing a show, but it might not be a full show. It might be matches. We're going to try at least to get dream matches. That's what I've been pushing right now. They told me. This is what they said. It might be hard to sell a game that USA and Europeans cannot buy. Because we were pushing the whole import thing. And I told them, well, Fire Pro Wrestling Returns has been released in the US. Plus, I can do something in the old SmackDown games if I need to. Also, I'm pretty sure the final Fire Pro Wrestling, the Japanese version of Fire Pro Wrestling 2, which is an American game, only has the difference of the management of the ring mode. in it. And this is an English game, so it's pretty easy to actually, English patch is pretty easy to understand. Then also if you want me to do something technical related, like the best team of each franchise versus each other in a season, I can do that. He said, we'll take your ideas into consideration, and I'll get back to you when we can. So, it's been 3 days. I'm not going to reply yet. The last time this happened was when I sent them the ideas, and that took a few days to actually go through. So we'll be waiting on that, and we'll see if we actually get a response. A good response. If it's a bad response, you might see some dream matches actually take place on the channel just to stick the finger to machinima. Not really saying to stick the finger to machinima, but still, you'll see some kind of... Because, I really love the Dream Match series, and I believe on Fire Pro Wrestling Returns, you can deliver way better matches than WWE 13 will ever deliver. And we'll talk more about WWE 13 later, because we got a topic here that says, why Fire Pro Wrestling over WWE 13, and that's way later. Now let's talk about something else, because honestly, that's pretty much all I can say at this point. Dragon's Lair. Let's talk about Dragon's Lair. Dragon's Lair is a game which basically is an interactive story where you push a button and you move that direction, or you push X and you swing your sword. The major problem with this game is that it's fucking difficult, because it's like one of those games where you have to memorize everything before you go into it. You have to keep playing to memorize everything, and for the love of God, it's difficult. Now, I tried... Now, people tell me that it's easier in the PSN version. I downloaded the PSN version, and here's what I learned. It has a move guide, which is a little, directional pad at the bottom left corner of the screen that tells you which way to move and what button to push. Here's the problem with that. Sometimes, you're not allowed to think in this game. Sometimes you're because for example, let's take the battle against the knight, which slams its sword down and it sends electrical patterns towards you. Now, without knowing, would you know that instantly that with the move guide, would you know instantly that your right that you're about to press is followed quickly by a left right? No? Well, the game expects you to know. Even if the move guide shows it, it's like a split second timing, which happens a couple times through the game, and it makes it so much difficult than it's thought to be. Sure, I will admit, you can save before you enter every room, which means that the game pretty much lets you get as far as you want to get without dying, because you can pretty much save and reload your save, so that way you're perfect all the way through. But the problem is, you're going to have a lot of deaths, and that's off screen, and that's pretty much not that doesn't mean the game is easy. It might be easy to get the trophies, but the game itself is not easy. Now, let's say, for example, you wanted to play on hard mode, and there's a lot more button presses and a lot more split timing things. Doing that with the mode guide might take forever. The game angers me, but I love it because it's beautiful, and it's actually really, really old considering where it is in the timeline, and it looks fantastic. I believe the game was actually made in the 80s, so Dragon's Lair is a laser deck. That's 1983. The game being in 1983. Now imagine that. Imagine the game in 1983 showing you pretty much perfect. It's a video game, so showing you pretty much high-end cartoon quality animation throughout the entire game. Now that's amazing. I know people are being like, what? Now we got a couple more topics because that's all I can talk about Dragon's Lair. I played through the entire game. I died countless times. I died like 5 times in the night scene alone. It's a hard fucking game, but it's good to actually get through. Now, it's time to talk about contracts. I'm sure some of you want to know what's good with contracts. Seth, do you want to know what happens with contracts? I'm pretty sure you do. Contracts. We're talking about contracts, because here's the most important thing about contracts. We're discussing contracts right now. Here's what the deal is about the whole contract situation. What I want to do is offer seasonal contracts, where if you sign that contract, you are part of Wrestlecade for that entire season. You will be booked as often as possible without your permission. You might be able to sign your contract live on the podcast. We will see. But if I work out the details of it. Now, your contract entitles you to be booked as much as you can on the show. And this is where it gets hard. Because for you people with multiple characters, this is where it gets hard, because your characters might not be on every single show, but I will try to fit as many of your characters as I can into the show. You'll be a part... You'll have at least one character part of every big tournament / brawl thing that happens. If we do another Suicide Soldier match, you will have all your characters in by default. That is what will happen, and I'm going to write up all the details that will occur because of this, and you will get it all in a twit longer so you can see all the details. Now, the issue with this is if we have 100 characters sign up, this causes issues. So here's what I'm going to say. The seasonal contracts will be released on a limited basis. How limited, perhaps? We might only send 50 contracts out. And the rest of the spots of the card from that 50 contracts will be spent on just regular people wanting to join Wrestlecade. Because the last thing I want to do is have everyone sign a contract and no one who wants to be part of Wrestlecade get in. Because the reason that Wrestlecade was made is for people who want something to do to wrestle on Wrestlecade. And it was not made to, have no one who wants to be in get in. There are times where people won't be booked, of course. That is to be expected. But we'll try to get you on as much as possible if we have with the contract. Regardless. You will see at least one, or maybe you'll see at least 2 of your characters on every Wrestlecade show. Guaranteed. We'll try to do as best we can. You'll get bonuses and that kind of thing, but besides that, we're pretty much working on how to limit the number of people that sign these contracts. We don't want everybody. We don't want a card full of people with contracts that have no one else get in. That's the issue with the contracts, and that is what we're working on currently in the Wrestlecade with the contract situation. Okay? Now, talking about Kinnikuman games. You guys might have saw me play Kinnikuman a few days ago. As in that game with the human toilet. My opinion about that game is ridiculous. The game is ridiculous, but it's funny to play. And, maybe you might see something in the future about that, because I just downloaded the first game. And the first game has pretty much a computer versus computer mode. Do you know what a computer versus computer mode means? It means we can do simulations. You know who does a lot of simulations? Wrestlecade. You know what happens if you can do simulations? You can do wrestling shows. You can do shows on the game. When you do shows on a game, people watch the hilarity that happens. So you might see Kinnikuman Wrestling Federation eventually, or something like that in the future, for a monthly basis, or maybe a bi-weekly or something like that. just recorded, not streamed live or anything. Just recorded off using XSplits. That would be very entertaining. I should also add in that Oregon Trail 5, the show, will be actually in 3 weeks. 3 weeks, I said. However, the Oregon Trail show will not be for any Wrestlecade titles. It will be just straight up matches, teams or singles, facing or trios or quadros or whatever, fighting each other to see which one's the first to die and the final one to live. And I bet you people have been waiting to see that since I announced it last month. I just dropped a bomb. So I want to tell everyone I'm doing a podcast because I really need podcasts. Anyways, 15 Wrestlecades. 15 Wrestlecades. Whole Wrestlecades. We went. $15 of them. You know how we've done 15 shows, and all of them have been pretty good. Actually, I'm surprised that the reaction has been as good as it is. The other thing I am a little bit disappointed in is the number of people that have watched the shows. I really wish. I really wish more people would watch the shows when they've been posted. That would be awesome. But, again, I wasn't expecting the thing to be even watched at all, and yet the general thing for it is just nothing but love. And here's what I'm wondering. Since the videos are not really watched that much, so how are you guys so loving a Wrestlecade when it really seems like no one really watches it? I mean, the latest Wrestlecade only has 18 views, so you must have 18 RPers who watched a part of it. I don't know, we'll see. I'm still surprised how many people actually want to be part of Wrestlecade, even though some of them are complete noobs to the scene. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, I'm just saying I'm surprised that you guys are hearing of us and signing up for it anyway. It's 15 shows full of fun, and we've had the most hilarious endings, and we've had guys getting stripped of titles, we have had count-out victories, we've had people escaping, we have people exploding, we've had people getting killed, we've had Monty Brown taking out Nash's quad, we've had freaking, oh my god, so much fucking tag team, we've had Greatest Attack, we have Grand Tag League, we had a Suicide Soldier series with 64 people involved. We've had by far some of the biggest fucking shows in any of the companies involved. I mean, any of the companies in all of Twitter right now. So, and that's what people keep telling, and it's not things from my mouth. This is things from other people's mouths. They're telling me that we have this big fucking show that cannot be stopped. That obviously is probably the #1 show in all of Twitter Wrestling RP history. And it amazes me how many people actually like us and how many people actually want to be a part of the thing. And I thank everyone for being a part of it, regardless if you are a guy just watching for the first time or a guy just, been there from day one. Been there from day one in general. From ASW to Wrestlecade. Been there day one from Wrestlecade. been there, been at a few shows, been at one show, and never exactly wanted to join again. I don't know. Thanks to everybody involved. And by the way, guys, I am looking in chat, so if you're going to type stuff, you can type and I can see it. Because I can see Punk's in here, Chicago Punk, and I can see Aries is in here. So I can see them. And and you know what, time to talk about another thing. Other companies. My opinions on other companies. Ooh. Okay. I don't have really a I don't necessarily hate other companies because I did like TWA. TWA was probably one of my personal favorites because there were some storylines there that just seemed to be working well. ETW was a very good one too, in my honest opinion. There were a lot of good guys wrestling on the roster there before it closed down. TWE, very different in the terms of how it does its shows, and I believe that makes it unique and a very underrated fed, in my opinion. TWE is a very underrated fed in what it does because it's actually a descriptive written show, and that's actually a very good thing. There's this new company called DLW, which I have not taken that much of a look at. I cannot technically say I have not looked at anything of it yet, but I don't even know what the format is, if it's written shows or if it's actually game-based, but I've seen other shows which are completely other shit because they don't require enough depth or anything. There have been a couple people from DLW, though. A couple people from ETW that joined DLW that I actually like their characters, and I really wish them all the best, and I really hope that everyone enjoys themselves while being a part of the company that they are part of. Because it's not fun, you should get out. If it lacks being fun, you should just get out. But yeah, they're all very good. I mean, there are the good companies, there are the bad companies, and then there are the ones that it's a thing that I really think that companies are the best thing for the thing, and as long as you're having fun with the company you're at, there's no problems. But I believe the people running the companies need to learn that there's a certain amount of things that they should do. They should first do the shows for the fans, for the wrestlers and the people watching, and realize that the more hard work you put into it, the better it's going to be. That's my honest opinion. The more hard work that you put into it, people will realize this. Because I put a shitload of work into Wrestlecade, and people love us. That's why I want to make a point. You put the amount of effort. You don't half-ass a company. And that's my honest opinion. If you half-ass a company, your roster will realize you half-ass. And that's what it comes down to. You half-ass, you should leave. If you put as much effort as you can into it, regardless of, heck, if you don't make that much money, and freaking camera is all you can afford to record shows or whatever, try. At least, do your best with what you got. Just remember to put a whole bunch more effort into it. And don't, for the love of God, don't have the fucking camera shake due to H Impact and show the fucking whole TV. That's a fucking terrible idea. Okay, now enough about that, because honestly, I'm probably get people angry at myself for saying that some companies don't put as much effort as they should. And they think running a company will be very fucking easy when it's not. Or any event. You know what I mean? Anyways, next topic. Why Fire Pro Wrestling over WWE 13? Now, this is a question that I seem to get every once in a while. Why aren't you using WWE 13? Why using some Japanese game that no one has ever heard of? Well, there's a couple reasons for this. One is I don't like WWE 13 when you look at AI-wise. I think the AI in Fire Pro Wrestling Returns is better because Fire Pro Wrestling Returns allows you to build your own fucking AI. And honestly, I believe that community creations does not work well enough. It does not work that well for me. It's a lot better to just go online and download the fucking Action Replay Max files to put on the fucking game. And it's way easier to do that than it is to get that, because I got everything archived on my freaking system. Which is perfect. Now, another reason why I'm using Fire Pro Wrestling Returns is because of the cost slots. Now, you know how WWE13 has 50 people? Fire Pro Wrestling Returns has 500 cost slots. Legit 500 cost slots. Now, if you took the current rosters of WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan, All Japan, Noah, AAA, CMLL, Chikara, CCW, you could probably fit them all on one game. I know, amazing, right? That's a lot of people to put on a save. And by the way, Wrestlecade has the entire 500 slots filled. And we've been transferring people on and off from another memory card that actually play in Wrestlecade. The only reason there's 500 slots filled is because the difference is that I'm keeping that I run more than one show off the memory card. That's true. I run more than one show off the memory card. And that is why we've been working with 500 full save. And that's the second reason why we stick with Fire Pro Wrestling Returns over WWE13. Number 3, and this is for WWE13 specifically, not WWE12, not 2011, not 2010, not 2009. The thing that pisses me off the most in WWE13, and I know that I'm probably going to be alone on this, the 2-count glitch. The 2-count glitch is something that pisses me off with WWE13. You want to know why it pisses me off? Because matches without 2 counts are retarded. You need 2 counts in order to build up a match, because it's not going to be like 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, congrats, guys. Way to freaking be smart. And before people tell me, oh, you can get 2 counts, you just have to target the arms, the AI doesn't fucking do that. The AI decides we're going to get our 2 counts by rolling up in small packaging. Seriously. Seriously, guys. Is that good AI programming? You can't get 2 counts in the fucking game? You can't get 2 counts in the fucking game. And you see, this is why I hate THQ, and I'm happy that the WWE license now resides within Take-Two. That is right, confirmed. Take-Two owns WWE game license. That is right, confirmed. Great day, best day ever. And I hope 2K does a good job with the license, but I don't. But I think they will. Way better than EA will, because we all know that EA likes to make a game that stays the same forever. That's why I'm shooting promo on EA. You know what was your worst decision? Buying the NFL license, because now you're giving out shit on a consistent basis. You bought the NFL license, you're giving out shit on a consistent basis instead of making, because you were scared of 2K. You were scared of 2K. They released a $20 video game, almost deeply cut into your sales, made you reduce the price of your game by like $20, and you bought the license just to crush them and keep them out of the race. Wow. I can't believe we got on the topic of EA. Oh, and I was going to talk about the whole next-gen system thing and why I don't like it. Here's my problem with next-gen systems. And everyone keeps telling me that this is what I keep hearing. I keep hearing that the new systems, next-gen systems, will not allow used games. And I find that to be the most retarded decision in all of gaming history, You want to know why? Because when a game, and this is just saying a game, a disc-based game, the media that people prefer to get than downloaded titles because they don't have enough space on their fucking hard drive for the fucking downloaded titles. Here's the problem. They go look for the game a couple months after it's released. They can't fucking find it. They have to go to a used game store and buy the fucking game used. And second off, how are you going to tell what a disc is? How are you going to tell that the disc is used? How are you going to fucking tell? Is there going to be an access code on every fucking disc that only locks into that certain PlayStation 3? What if someone want to take a game to a friend's house? Is it going to lock out on that and not work? What if I get a game from like if a friend brings over a game that's his, is he going to lock up my PlayStation 3 or my PlayStation 4 and not work? Is there lock up the Xbox 720 and not work? What is the deal with that? Why is it so problem to just say, well, maybe if we fucking goddamn would make sure the games would always be, and I don't know, out there for people to buy, maybe we would actually, succeed in actually having people buying them. That is my biggest flaw with freaking this whole that allowing to use games, is that when a game gets hard to find, you can only find it used. Why should you be punished for finding a game that you can only find used, that you can find it new? Why is that a punishment? Let's take the .hack games for example. The .hack games I can only find used. An RPG series that has 4 fucking series, I can find the first one. I can't find the first one anywhere. Can't find the second one anywhere. Can't find the third one anywhere. Can't find the fourth one anywhere. Only used or on eBay. And eBay, I'm pretty sure they would be like, oh, well, you got the game from eBay. Guess what? That's used. You can't run it. It's a retarded decision by everything we start banning used games. Retarded decision. I don't care if you're losing money. You've made enough money on the original fucking sales. The only reason you're bitching about this is because, people buy a game, beat it in a short amount of time, take it back because it has no fucking replay factor, and then sell it for half price. That is what your issue is with the fucking game. Simply because the game doesn't have enough replay value to stay with the player. That is why you have a problem with it, and that is why you're trying to fucking just encroach on everything used games. And I'm pretty passionate about this shit. And another reason, and here's another thing I hit at next gen. I have no problem with Xbox going next gen. The PS3! You have not pushed the PS3 hardware as much as it can be pushed. You need to wait another fucking year before you start talking about PS4. You're talking about it now. There's no reason the PS4 should be released this fucking year. Because the PS3 has not been pushed to its fucking top form, and you fucking know it. If you push the PS4 out right now, you're basically killing the PS3. You know what you did? What did you do with the PS2? You had it going for a bunch of years after the PS3 came out. It's pretty much it just started to go out of production this year. End of last year, early this year. Why the fuck are you actually not? Why in the fuck are you going through this? Why? Why the fuck is your system only lasting 5 years and you get rid of it or something? A 5-year system is as fucking worthless as a goddamn Virtua Boy. Systems should last 7 years. The system could last 7 years. I'm not saying it's going to last. I'm not saying it should last 10 years. There's no way in hell some systems will last 10 years. 7 years isn't a good number for it to fucking close down, but it's not going to work. Apparently. Apparently not. Also, for those who want to be a part of the thing, we got a little Q&A session after the show. And if you want to send us questions and answers, please at me on Wrestlecade Fed at Twitter right now. Because we are so close to the end, because we got one topic left, and that is writing a show. Writing a show. Let's see if anyone else has stumbled into the chat that's watching. No, just Punk and Aries. Okay, hi Punk, hi Aries. I see you guys are... I see Punk's quiet while Aries is talking. So at me questions while I'm doing this freaking thing. Here's what we got. Writing a show. Here's what I hate about shows that are written. Let's say you have Austin Aries, because he's in chat. Let's use him as an example. Austin Aries versus, let's go with, I don't know, Dolph Ziggler. Match 5. Main event. Austin Aries defeats Dolph Ziggler. Is that it? You sure you want to just write that? You wrote 5 fucking words. Well, 7. 7 fucking words. That is an utter disrespect to the competitors. That's an utter disrespect to the fans. Utter disrespect to all the other fucking companies that work hard. Learn how to write. It doesn't have to be much. Just put some goddamn effort into it. Let's start with the obvious. Austin Aries defeats Dolph Ziggler by the 450 splash. A little more detail. We've got a finish. Right? Good start. Good start. Now let's add a little bit more. Austin Aries defeats Dolph Ziggler by 450 splash in 12 minutes and 22 seconds. A little more detail. Let's the match was pretty long. Right? Let's keep going. Let's actually plan out this finish. Dolph Ziggler goes for Austin Aries on the top rope, trying to hit a zigzag off the top. Austin Aries pushes him down. Ziggler lands flat on his back. Aries jumps up, goes for 450 splash, hits Dolph Ziggler, pins 1, 2, 3. Your winner, Austin Aries. That's a finish. That's a whole sequence of moves leading to the finish. This is what I believe most companies should do. Write the finish. Write the finish. Now let me go into more detail. This is extra credit work, people. Now we go through the entire sequence. Dolph Ziggler goes for a top rope zigzag on Austin Aries. Aries shoves him off. Dolph Ziggler lands flat on his back. Aries jumps off. 450, hits it, pins 1, 2, 3. Aries is your winner. After the match, Aries celebrates his victory. Rushing into the ring is Daniel Bryan. Aries turns around. Daniel Bryan instantly locks in the yes lock. Locks into the yes lock on Austin Aries. Aries, being tired and fatigued from his competitive match with Dolph Ziggler, cannot get out of the move. The referee tries to break the hold. Daniel Bryan keeps the hold on. Security rushes out, pulls Daniel Bryan off of Austin Aries, gets him out of the, and Daniel Bryan quickly leaves out of the ring and heads out of the arena. The EMTs check on Austin Aries to see if he's okay. Aries is helped backstage by one EMT personnel. That is extra credit. That is what you want to do if you want to write a very descriptive, good show. Yeah. That, I'm just saying, the very minimum you want to write is the finish. The very minimum you want to write is the finish. You might want to include some spots before that. But the very minimum you want to write is the full finish, plus if anything special happens afterward, write it in the description. Don't be a cunt and just write who wins. I swear to God, if you write who wins, I will come to your house and I will fucking kill you. You write the full fucking match. From beginning to end, the entire thing. You might want to write the whole match from beginning to end, but the minimum you have to write is the fucking finish. That's the most important part of the match. You write the fucking finish. That's it. That's all you have to write. Plus any special thing that might happen occurred throughout the match, include that as well. Now, backstage. Here's another part, and I think I've told you about this before. When you go backstage, you have to write out what happens. You could say, let's take AJ Styles and let's take CM Punk. Backstage confrontation. AJ Styles doing an interview says that he is the phenomenal one, and everyone's gonna learn what phenomenal is because phenomenal is the best, and he is the best. AJ Styles, pretty simple promo right there. Punk comes out and says, "Did you just call yourself the best? You might have not heard of me. I am CM Punk. I am the best in the world. I am the reason why these fans come to watch this show. I am the reason why people even bother I'm the reason why people even bother going through watching people like you wrestle. Because they want to watch me, CM Punk. They want to watch the straight edge superstar. They want to watch the best in the world, not some guy who calls himself phenomenal and has zero credibility in this company. I am the one who will be champion. The best in the world, with the best company in the world. Obviously, the best wrestler and the best in the world should be the champion, and that is me, CM Punk." And he just tells us, "You think you're best in the world?" If I remember correctly, you're the one who lost to John Cena. And Punk goes like, and then Punk says, basically, "Don't you say another word about John Cena." The only reason he wins is because he's lucky. It has nothing to do with skill, because he's surely not better than me. In fact, skill-wise, he's worse than everyone else on this roster, except you, because you're obviously a man thinking that he's phenomenal when surely he isn't, because I've seen you lose to people like Jack Evans, and then AJ gets pissed and then slaps Punk in the face, and then Punk and AJ probably brawl, and then they have to be pulled apart. Very simple promo. I made it very descriptive, I'm sorry, but you guys get the point. Be descriptive. You could probably shaving that down to about 4 sentences, and it would have been pretty good. I like being descriptive sometimes. I'm sorry, I got way too descriptive. And anyways, that's what I mean. If you're going to be a written show, you have to put effort into it. You cannot do short fucking shit. You have to put effort into it. If you're going to write matches, do results. If you're going to write promos, tell us what happens. If you're going to write pretty much anything, you have to be descriptive. And the only thing that you might not want to be descriptive on completely, the only match which you will have to write from beginning to end, the only matches is the Iron Man match, unless you want to write down, how basically everyone thing went in that before that fall. Like, it was a very close contested match until CM Punk rolled up John Cena and grabbed his tights. 1, 2, 3. Or you write the Royal Rumble, which that will have to be a full match pretty much no matter what. But when you're writing Royal Rumble, if you want to write the shortest thing, you can write just finishers, important moments, and eliminations. That's all you should write. That's all you need to write for a Royal Rumble if you're going to write it shorthand. I mean, the short way. Now, chat. Do you have any questions for the Wrestlecade podcast? Type it in chat. People on Twitter, if you're not writing on Twitter, replying with it. Just people should know I'm doing Q&A. I've been telling people the right questions, and I have not gotten any questions at all on Twitter. That disappoints me so much. I'm looking at both Twitter You can ask me whatever questions you want to. What do we have to do to... I'm not just looking at my questions right here because I have no questions on Ask FM either. You can ask me whatever you want. I am looking on everything right now to see what we got. We have 0 questions right now, and I am disappointed in what I'm doing. Favorite indie wrestler? My favorite independent wrestler? That's a hard pick. Currently, I'm actually rooting for someone like, very hard to say. Well, I have so many people I like. Truthfully, I'm a big Human Tornado fan because I find Human Tornado to be hilarious. I like Super Dragon. I like Chuck Taylor. Ultramantis Black's pretty awesome. Favorite WWF match? Now, you mean old WWF when it's actually WWF and not WWE? I'd probably have to go with. You know, this is gonna be a hard one. This could be one that I'm gonna probably hear a lot. But Angle Michaels, if we're including like when it was WWE, because I think that was at 19. Yeah, Angle Michaels at 19. I think that was 19. Better have been 19. I might have fucking brain issues and just screw up the year. Best match I have ever seen. Shoot. Best match I've ever seen is probably a freaking Misawa and Kobashi match. I can't remember which one though. Punk versus Joe was good all 3 times, but it was a Misawa Kobashi match. It was pretty awesome. That I cannot remember which one though. There's like 6 of them. And I can't remember which one. Wrestler we all need to go check out. Well, if we're skipping the U.S., because obviously I think you guys all know U.S. guys pretty well. There's a wrestler in Japan. Well, based on gimmick alone. If you want to go watch a hilarious gimmick, go watch Danshoku Dino. He is a homosexual wrestler, and all his moves are pretty, homosexually oriented. If you don't know who, if you want someone who is a very great wrestler, and is probably one of my personal favorites, Kazuchika Okada, Kazuchika Probably one of the next big things in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Going to be a very good guy, very good wrestler. Favorite Wrestlecade match? Considering it was all one match, the Suicide Soldier match. The fucking 8-way crazy shit that we went through. It was technically supposed to be one match. That was my favorite Wrestlecade match. Suicide Soldier. Final round. We'll say final round if it's not. Thoughts on Chris Benoit? Chris Benoit. Here's my thoughts. I love the guy as a wrestler. I love the guy as a promoter. What happened was a tragedy in all of professional wrestling. The guy, if you're gonna put people in Hall of Fame purely based on wrestling ability, the man, no question, is a Hall of Famer. And the only reason is that he isn't in the Hall of Fame already is because of what happened. If we're judging the people by the wrestling thing that they go on, then Chris Benoit should be in the Hall of Fame, regardless of what he did. And that is my honest opinion, because we've seen people. We've seen. Honestly, it's a hard case to pull because people probably tell me, well, he should get it because, but he's like a great. He was a great wrestler. He's everything that wrestling should be. He should be in the Hall of Fame. Just put an asterisk next to his name when he gets in. State that WWE did not confer, does not condone. I mean, does not. We are putting in Chris Benoit the wrestler, not Chris Benoit the man. He should have asterisks next to his name, saying that the wrestling performances of Benoit are being acknowledged, not his out of the ring actions. That is what I believe. Favorite women wrestlers? Apple Miyuki, Awesome Kong, Manami Toyota, Beth Phoenix is very good. I like Natalia too. There's a lot of women wrestlers I like. I can't. Oh, I can't remember her name. Whatever her name is, I can't remember her name. But those are some of my personal favorites. I like Trish Stratus and I like Lita too. And I guess in a hilarity twist of fate, I do like Gail Kim too. That's not twist of fate though. That's just Lita. That's just Gail Kim. Victoria too. Jazz as well. I'm being a lot crazy there. Thoughts on El Generico to WWE? I am happy El Generico is going to get a chance to show his talents to mainstream. I hope he's not Colt Cabana. I hope he is not Scotty Goldman. And I hope that he is actually given the time that he needs to be successful. He needs to be entertaining, because I believe that with him, you can have probably some of the most hilarious segments of all time. And that's my honest opinion, because El Generico is a non-stop laughs machine. More questions. What we got here? Do anything on Twitter yet? Probably not. Oh well. Who should be in the Hall of Fame that isn't Bar Benoit? Okay. Now, I'm going to go with people that honestly are going to be hard, because here's what I think. The Hall of Fame, WWE Hall of Fame, if you're going to make this, I believe that they should include people from the companies that they own, WCW and ECW. Here's my opinion, because I cannot really say that many ECW guys who should be in the Hall of Fame, because ECW wasn't really around that long. WCW, on the other hand, there were a lot of people there that should be in the Hall of Fame. Some people I would pick is Great Muta, Jushin Thunder Liger, Vader, and I'm just making sure this guy is not already in the Hall of Fame, because I want to make sure. Because I remember guys like Coco Beware made it. And Coco Beware, don't get me wrong, he's not Vader, he's not Liger, he's not Muta. Yeah, here we go. Bam Bam Bigelow was not in the Hall of Fame, should be in the Hall of Fame. And I want to get one more. And Brian Pillman. Brian Pillman should be in the Hall of Fame. There's an Owen Hart by far, Hall of Fame, you know what I mean? We have a lot of people here that should be in the Hall of Fame that aren't yet. So those are some of my picks. And you know what? Honestly, if you're gonna go if you're still gonna go based on WCW credentials, guys like Booker T should be heavily considered for Hall of Fame based on what he did for a fucking tag division and what he did for a fucking heavyweight division in WCW, and how good of honestly, he did a lot of things that he should be in there. More questions we got. Should Sting ever jump at the stage late in his career? If he's jumping, it should only be for the Sting Taker match at WrestleMania. That is my honest opinion. That is the only reason he should jump, for one match against Taker. That's the only thing he has left to do at WrestleMania. That's the only thing he has left to do. That is the only match he needs to do. Besides that, he only needs that one match. He should not be jumping back over there for more than one match. Should Sting be wrestling at all, for that matter? Sting? I believe Sting is still in that state where he can wrestle an occasional match and still do an okay job. He is not Kevin Nash. Not yet, folks. But he won't be there for much longer, in my honest opinion. Oh, yeah. Probably should bring up guys like... Oh, yeah, by the way, not Hall of Fame guy. I don't think... This list might be old, I think. Dynamite Kid, Ultimate Warrior. You got Bob Backlund. The Rock, not Triple H, The Rock. Eventually should be in the Hall of Fame as well. Thoughts on all the hate on TNA. I find that all the hate on TNA should be stopped. Because honestly, you want to take a look at WWE. WWE still makes the same retarded decisions that it does. TNA might make retarded decisions too. The difference is that WWE refuses to change. TNA tries to change occasionally, and honestly, I think the hate might be a little bit misdirected. Should WWE continue with WWTV, or should they instead focus elsewhere, like possibly building an actual Hall of Fame building? Here's my opinion on WWTV. What are you going to have on there that will be different from, like, WWE On Demand? WWE On Demand. What's going to be on WWTV? I know that, House of Everybody Living Together is going to be there. But honestly, besides that, what can you really think of a 24-hour WWE TV station? How are you going to fit all that together? Are you going to be able to fit all that shit on 7 nights of TV? Don't forget, you're not doing one night, you're doing 7 nights of television a week. And you cannot put this... okay, WTV, let's say you got Raw on Monday. You got Raw Monday. You got SmackDown on Friday. You got Main Event in whatever day it is. You got NXT on Wednesday or whatever the fucking day it is. That's about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours or so. 7, 8 hours of TV time a week. Yeah. When you look at the table, you've got about 128, so that's 168 hours? 168 hours of TV. And you just took out, let's say, 8 hours. You start the program 160 hours. Now let's say you're going to be a smart person and go, we're going to get 3 hours of Nitro and 2 hours of Thunder. You're taking out 5 hours total. That's still 155 hours to program. You're taking out, another 2 hours for ECW shows, 153. Can you really give me a very enough lineup to cover 153 hours left? With all the, I guess you could, if you go old school Raw too, if you go old school Raw and old school SmackDown or something, take off another 4 hours there, you get 149 hours. So here's the problem. How are you going to be able to get the whole 149 hours worth? You're going to give out, what are you going to do? You're going to give out like a pay-per-view every week or whatever? 146. How are you going to do this? How are you going to fit enough wrestling content on the station? That is my opinion. I guess you could double show other programs, but that would just knock it down from 146 to like 120 or something. That's my opinion. You don't have enough shows or enough footage to consistently run on a weekly basis new stuff. And I believe that they should actually focus elsewhere. A Hall of Fame building would be good, but there's a lot of things they could be focusing on as well besides WTV. Thoughts on Hogan and TNA? Hogan is a good, I believe, is a good general manager type role. Should not be wrestling ever. should not be managing ever. If he's going to be general manager, he should not be even refereeing a match. He should just be a general manager, basically sitting there and trying to get people. I know he is a big name, and he might want to wrestle, but him wrestling is about akin to Ric Flair wrestling, which means you're not going to see a good match. Ric Flair in his current age, not Ric Flair, retro. Anyway, do I think Sting will ever get inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame since they own his old WCW stuff? If WWE is going to induct people based on the fact that, like, they fucking inducted Antonio Inoki, for crying out loud. Antonio Inoki, who was mostly well known for facing Ric Flair in a fucking match. And Ric Flair's a WCW guy. So I think that Sting should go in the Hall of Fame, and I think he will go in the Hall of Fame very quickly. It just depends on how soon he retires. If he retires in the next year, I think WWE will be calling him to actually get in the Hall of Fame. Because they inducted Ric Flair when he was part of TNA. So I think... Ric Flair for a second time when he was part of TNA. Excuse me. But I fully believe that Sting will get in the Hall of Fame as soon as he retires. Because I think WWE respects what the man can do. And I believe that's what he'll do. If you got any more questions, put them in chat on Twitter. I'll be here. I got one more question left, looks like. Everybody else on Twitter is not asking me questions. Thoughts on Tensai being buried? Tensai being buried is a shame. Because Tensai, as a big man, is probably one of the best big mans that WWE has had in a while. He's better than Brodus Clay. He's better than Kane at this point. And I'm going to be honest, he's main event material gone to waste. Just like a lot of other people, but that's my honest opinion, and I don't know why they don't decide to actually push the guy. And I really wish that they would actually push the guy, but apparently not. That's not a good idea. Apparently they won't push the guy because they can't keep behind him. His gimmick might have been ridiculous too. His gimmick might have been a tad. They just broke down the whole thing, and that just pissed me off. Tensai being buried. I cannot believe they buried Tensai, because that's honestly... I fully believe that he should have been WWE champion, a World Heavyweight champion eventually, because he was like the big guy that they lacked. The big talented wrestler that could actually go with good sized matches with people like Ziggler or whatever. And instead he's like just falls off the edge. Mildly disappointed. Any other questions in chat? None? That's pretty much every question I've gotten, and I don't think I see any other questions, so I think I'm done. This podcast is over, guys. Play the ending theme!